Hello, everybody. I'm gonna have to ask if you guys can hear me on because I have no idea. I'll be completely honest with you. So update me if you can. I'll be absolutely spectacular. I think you'll be able to with the microphone. But if I've not, then shout it out, and we'll see how that's doing. I'm completely reliant on you. It's a scary place to be if you're doing YouTube stuff. But it's something. Yes, didn't upload the thumbnail that I was planning on doing, which is really, really kind of pretty hell. Right. Mind the banners, mind the hands. Hello, everybody. Yeah, this is the most scuffed setup that I'm going to stream on for an extended period of time, and it will likely be the same setup tomorrow, except I'm not 100% sure if that camera will be working tomorrow. So, that's going to be good. It's not that it won't be working, it's that it'll run out of charge because I've got a lot of filming to do tomorrow. And I forgot to bring the battery charger, which, when I look at it, is starting to feel a little bit like a mistake, but that's okay. I can barely hear you, very distorted. Oh no, hang on. Is it a little better like this, or is it worse like this? Or is it neither? Or is it both? I'm very much reliant on you guys for this. I told you it'd be a scuffed setup. I did warn you. Better. Okay, cool. Like audibly better, or is it like still crackly and iffy? So I can always like change things around. It's up to what you guys need, you know? That's why I do these streams. I gotta follow the people. And we're a democracy around here, which is great. Yeah, I think my laptop just does not agree with microphones, which is a shame, I think. Audio instead. Okay, 1 second. That one. Sorry, I'm just updating the thumbnail. There we go. Right, hang on. Gonna test something. How about now? Now it's using the laptop mic, so I don't know. Scratchy as hell. Like now scratchy as hell, or previously scratchy as hell? I don't know. This is all very messy and has had to be bodged together in like 15 minutes. Better. That's better. That shouldn't be better. That's the annoying part. It should not be better. Oh well, that's fine. But we got to do a little bit of talky because there was a football match today, and the football match was West Brom nil, Leeds United nil. Now, this was a match that I was half watching in the background whilst I was also packing to head down to London, to specifically Brentford, which is I'm like 5 minutes away from the Brentford Community Stadium, which is fine. But I saw what I could of it, and it was Christ. Um, I was going to say it was definitely a game of football, but towards the end, I'm not even sure about that. Yeah, bit odd. Basically, the gist of what I noted was that it was a very, very, very slow match. And not much happened throughout, but looking back, I think what I've sort of garnered from it was because I spent like half the train journey thinking, like, what exactly was the difference here? And what I think the problem was we didn't have confidence when we were going forwards, and that's completely understandable. I totally get why we weren't confident because our best player going forwards was no longer there. So I think it was a little bit of like a mindset shift. Because typically, like we have experience in struggling in matches against um name of that stupid team. What's the stupid team called? West Brom, yeah. Yeah, we've got experience of not being very good against West Brom, and we've got experience of not getting performances and results out of Carlos Corberán matches. So what I think this turned into was a case of Daniel Farke looking at the match and going, can't really lose this. So the first 60 minutes or so were a bit like, well, rather than taking the risks like we did against Borough, and the risks left us wide open at the back, it was a case of, okay, so let's be very, very careful. We'll attack if the opportunity opens itself up, but we're not going to try and force it open because I don't think that would work. And this specifically relates to what Hugh said. The only Leeds player not playing backwards was Meslier, and I think that was sort of a plan for the first hour or so to basically be like, okay, if we go behind, we're done, game over. So what we could do is we could be as careful as possible, try not to lose the match, and then if we win, it's a bonus. Because if you're coming out of that match with it being a 1-0 loss or something like that, everybody is looking at it and going, oh, are we in deep trouble here? Whereas a 0-0 is weirdly it works for everyone-ish. I'd have much preferred a win, don't get me wrong, but this way, we're not beaten, which means I still need to do these bastard streams. And I will be trying to do another one in the same place tomorrow. And the camera in that one is significantly worse. Hold on, I'm gonna cut to it for a moment just to sort of demonstrate. Look at that. Full webcam mode. You can tell it's not as good, can't you? It feels it. And we're back to that one. Yeah. I think for me the general idea was don't lose. Which also demonstrated probably if the 49ers were watching to go, look, we can't create much going forwards. I mean, the general gist that I've seen on the Piroe point is we can't play him in the 10 again because it doesn't work because he's not very creative. The amount of times that I saw that he would receive the ball and then just sort of be like, well, I don't know what to do now. That's kind of sad because what you want from a number 10 is someone that picks up the ball and is immediately on the turn and being like, right, where next? If you're not immediately thinking where next, that's a problem. I said that it is a problem, which is a bit of a shame. And there were points throughout that first half where, and I believe weirdly, I think Matt was in the Discord that I was watching the match with some friends in, but he was also muted and deafened, which was definitely a choice. You can unmute and undeafen. That's completely fine. Let's just have an app. But the entire conversation between me and the people that were in there was, why didn't we just put Aronson on for Piroe at half time? Because at least Aronson's got that energy. By the way, thank you very much, Evie, for becoming a YouTube member. I thought you were before, but that might have been a gifted one. Not 100% certain, but now, you might notice in the chat, by the way, there's a fun little feature that Kayla popped together for me, which is my YouTube membership badges will change depending on like how long you've been a member. So at the moment, Evie's got the grey and orange pajama kit version of the badge, which is quite nice. Audo just got back from a 15-mile bike ride celebrating with a JD and Coke. You see, you do 15-mile bike rides to get all healthy and be like, oh, I'm strong and in shape. I'm not strong and in shape. But that's what people generally sort of do it with. Test. Ironically, I didn't do the test words this time, which is a bit of a shame. Because what I was planning on like doing something dramatic because I've got the wireless mic. So at one point I was gonna like stand up, zoom the camera out, and then like walk around and do a monologue, which would be quite fun. But I ended up not doing that because that sounded like quite a lot of effort, and it didn't end up working with the laptop, which was a shame. I think it was a problem with the cable, but I'll try and sort that out going forwards. Farke doesn't seem to make early ruthless changes if someone isn't playing well. I agree that Piroe wasn't playing well, but you've got to add that slight caveat of what exactly our goal was. So, with the discussion that our goal was probably to not lose that match, it makes a little bit of sense to me. Because if the idea is just don't lose, then I understand, and will be very, very, very careful. And Piroe won't necessarily look for that forward ball, but I don't know if he's that capable of that forward ball anyway. There's a slight issue for me. Um, Also annoying, I'm from Birmingham, a stone's throw away from West Brom and fellas in the pub celebrated a point like they won the FA Cup and hit this tin pop. I was gonna like you're against a team that looks like it is absolutely in shambles, and you're like, "Ooh, we got a point." Well done, lads. Well done. Sorry, just chatting with Kayla. I'm gonna skip that ad because a good chunk of the start of the stream was various tech support issues. Thank you, you guys, for helping sort those, by the way. Oh dear. I'm also a huge fan of the way that I can't really give that much detail on this, but I was chatting with Matt after the stream last night about what the thing that I'm doing tomorrow is. And if you're still here, Matt, look at the Twitter account of the person that I mentioned that we're doing the collab with, and look at their most recent tweet and tell me why them doing that right now is maybe not the shout. I feel we need to prioritize a creative number 10 before any others transfer who would be your ideal signing in that position. Did a bit of a video on this, not specifically on who we're going to get, but the specifics of the video was along the lines of, wow, we've waited way too long here. Because I was looking through and I was going, right, okay, so one of the targets would have been he's not the creative 10, but someone that can do the job, Schmodix, in terms of the goal scoring bit. And then twist from that, someone that can do the creative stuff, Callum O'Hare. Oh, he's gone elsewhere as well. And then you're going through again and you're like, okay, so further twist on that, someone that could sit deeper but do the creative stuff, Gabriel Sara. Oh no, wait, he's in Turkey. And we're getting to the point where all of the prospective targets are just going to be sort of and gone, and gone, and gone. And it makes things a lot more complex for us, I think, because we're dealing with a much shorter list of prospective buys compared to what there were at the start of the season, which is tough. And there is this as well. That's a good point. Problem is, we've waited too long. Clubs know we've got money, so we'll have to pay an extra tax for any player from now on. It's going to be a problem. The fact that we're going to have to just shell out money because, well, we've landed ourselves in a situation where everyone knows that we've got money and they want their slice of that fairly chunky pie that we've got right now. And that sort of dug ourselves into a little bit of an issue, which I don't like. I don't like us having a problem. Problems make me sad. Lodi. Uh, that's what she said. I know we got a clean sheet today, but I think we need a better left back and keeper if we're going to try and win this league. I don't see how we can come out of a 0-0 draw and think, you know what we need to do? We need to replace the goalkeeper. 1 second. That wasn't a fart. I was just opening a bottle. I didn't know how exactly it would come across on the microphone. Yeah, I think the lesson that we've learned from that is it sort of needs to be attacking players because it felt evident to me that with the game plan being protect the clean sheet and then with half an hour left, then maybe we can push for it. It felt like we were sort of understanding that we didn't have that attacking oomph that we would necessarily want, which is a problem, to be honest. I think if we had that attacking flair and the attacking flexibility, we would have had a much better chance. But we didn't. So that's that, I guess. Problem is, we've waited too long. Clubs know we've got extra money, so we'll have to pay an extra tax for any player from now on. Is one that I have already looked at. That's the one I was going to. It was that one. Sure, we keep looking at players like Clark. I think it's pointless. Will take ages to get done, and it won't get done. Love to see us doing good work from abroad. Leicester did last year. I think that'll be it. I think it'll be mainly European signings. Because there's a lot of undervalued talent all the way across Europe that stays undervalued because English clubs have an annoying tendency to just sort of like focus on England. And that, I mean, like, I half get it because it's like you've seen them play against you, but at the same time, like, there's so many good footballers all over the world, and you're just sort of restricting yourselves to the ones that aren't as good. Which feels like a mistake. Why is that so warm? Jesus. Sorry, I'm in a hotel that is expensed by work, and because it's near the studio place, they got a snazzy one because it's also where they're going to keep some guests and stuff. But it's got a safe, and I've just accidentally put my hand in the safe, and it's the warmest thing I've ever felt. It was nuts. Kind of liked it. Once and Clark, there's no way someone's got their best player this late in the window. Yeah, that's another one of the issues. It's way too late to try and persuade anyone to do any business, especially if it's business that they weren't considering doing until now, and it's business that's not necessarily forcing the move. So that's why I can maybe see Rowe happening. But the likes of Clark, who is already playing and is already doing quite well, don't know. Maybe he's got a low release clause. I really doubt it. I'll be completely honest with you. We scored 3 in the first game. It's our defence that's losing this game, as we probably won't replace Melier, but Firpo has to go as rubbish defender unless we move into the left. Right. All right. Okay. This needs conversation. So, first match, first goal we concede is because Bogle is out of position. Second goal we concede is because Rodon heads the ball directly into the middle of the park onto their guy's foot. Third goal, Jaden Bogle gives away a penalty. Portsmouth, first goal, yeah, Firpo somewhat to blame. Second goal, I can't remember the second goal in the slightest. But like the fact that the defence all across it was a little bit leaky doesn't not Portsmouth, sorry, Borough. Like the entire back line was leaky. You can't exactly look. Yeah, let's have a look at the highlights. First goal, a little bit of confusion between Aronson and Firpo, fair enough. Second, if it'll load through, is Vuba gives the ball away, faffs about a bit. Firpo has to race back to try and deal with it, but he's then overloaded by 2 players. That's on Vuba more than anyone else. Wait, that's not even a goal. That should have been a goal, but it wasn't. No, wait, hold on. Vuba gets the ball, plays a pass, hospital ball into Pat Bamford. Vuba's at fault for the second. And the third, absolutely everyone is too high up the pitch, basically. So, like, yeah, sure, you can blame Firpo if you want, but he was one of the better left backs in the league last year by a margin, a fairly comfy margin too. It was him, Leif Davis, and I can't think of anyone else that was really in that discussion. But yeah, it's odd. Could lead for a call Jack Harrison from loan? I very severely doubt it because it came from one of those wonderful little clauses that our good friend Victor popped in, which is causing us untold issues. I don't buy that the 49ers don't want the best for Leeds. I don't buy that the 49ers don't want the best for Leeds. So the 49ers want the best for Leeds. The expectation was to gain promotion last season. Now the priority and strategy have changed. I don't think the 49ers expect promotion now. I mean, they'll want it, but I think to expect it is basically in itself a little bit naive because you can't just say, well, I expect that to happen because it won't, because you need to compete and do quite well of your own merit rather than just sort of expecting a thing that happens. It looks solid today. Pascal had a few chances from corners. On another day, he scores one of them. We badly missed Pascal and his mallet head last season. There was one. that was I saw. Was it in the first or second half? I can't remember. Um, but there was one ball that came in. It was nodded on by Pascal towards the back post, and all I could think to myself was, "That's exactly where Pat Bamford goes." Because Matteo likes to be in the middle of the penalty area when it's a corner, and I completely get that because you've got to try and compete for those headers. But sometimes you need that sly dude that's sort of slinking around the back post, and I thought that could have been really interesting. Pretty good under pressure. Haha, thank you, John. I think get the receipt from when they bought Bogle. Maybe we can do a return faulting item. I think he's just got to get used to playing like week in, week out again, to be honest with you. I mean, he did that before, but he's with a new squad now, and that's always a little bit tough. Firpo got a few assists last season, but defensively he wasn't one of the best. I might be wrong on stats, but the games I watched last season, defensively he was awful and got torn apart every time. I mean, right. I've gone through the numbers before, and I do not have the energy to be the stats bitch today. But there's a ton of data that points to him having one of the better tackle rates, one of the better interception rates, ball recovery rates. He was ridiculously good when it came to the chance creation, as you mentioned. And importantly, a lot of people say that, well, his mistakes have personally led to us dropping points. Last season, he had 0 errors leading to goals, which is enough for me, I think. And I think replacing him deft will be a very low chance, but Emi Buendia, we're not getting Buendia. Come on. There's a sense of scale here. Buendia is absolutely not going to happen. What else did I put on my fun little thing of headers? There was one more. It's not the don't tell the stream that I'm doing it exclusively for the challenge. Honestly, I was very tempted to go to sleep like an hour ago, but I decided against it. That's a fun hiccup. Haha. But the other header was that at times the passing out from the back felt very, very lazy from us. I didn't like it. Like the amount of like slow building stuff that we would try and do. That one of the passes, even though there wasn't any pressure, would just be 2 yards too short, was a little bit like, oh, I'm not convinced that's comfy enough, to be honest with you. Like, Rodon did it a few times, Ampadu did it a couple of times. Didn't see it much out of Strauch, which is good. But yeah, those are the kind of errors that will just gift other teams chances, and the more we do that, the more we're causing problems for ourselves. And I'd rather we didn't do that because I quite like when we're feeling quite comfy and cozy. I'll take your word for it, but he's on a lot of money, so I'd sell him now and get off the wages at least. I wouldn't sell him now because you also need to look at the squad as it stands. And if you're looking at the squad at the moment, are we really in a position where we can afford to sell a left back? We've got one. And if you look behind it, you've got Pascal Struijk, who is not a left back. The League Cup match told us that. And you've got Max Wöber, who I'm not even convinced is a footballer at this stage. Like, I was willing to like give that chance to come back into it, but I don't know. I feel like the Furpo has become a scapegoat for fans to blame now. Of the players on the pitch, is nowhere near the worst. Patrick Bamford. This isn't new. Leeds fans picking out one player that they don't like and then staying committed to it is basically what we do. And I don't like it. No. The problem with passing out from the back is we have 2 DMs and there's nobody linking the midfield to the attack. It's where to start Rothwell. There was a stage in the second half where, because for the first like 10, 15 minutes after half time, I was still doing packing stuff, so I hadn't come back yet. But the midfield we'd taken off Piroe, we put on Rothwell. And the other 2 midfielders were still Grove and Ampadu. And I quite liked the way that we were playing for a while like that. because it was sort of like, oh, okay, so we're in a traditional 4-3-3, but Rothwell's a touch higher up the pitch, and that worked for me because it felt a little bit more like apt at progressing the ball up the field. I also think that at some point, if things don't start to improve in the next like couple of weeks, and it's very, very early in the season, but I'm going to keep a little bit of an eye on Mateo Joseph because there's been points where I'm like, is there a little bit of nerves coming into your game? Because there were a couple of times where it was sort of like, I think, I think it was Matt again that brought up the stat to me right before the stream that Mateo had 0 attempted dribbles in that match. Pat Bamford came on 15 minutes, had 2. Now you can say what you like about Bamford and his technical ability, but like that sort of shows that either Mateo isn't feeling comfortable yet, or he's not technically got it within him to try and do that, which is a little bit tough. I feel it's a struggle. Bubba's a good player. He just doesn't want to be here. Furpur's proving his worth. So team statue needed. I'm gonna back a statue. You know, I mean, there's other statues that we should probably do first. A lot of the Reeve team, for example. But yeah, it's don't do it, Diggler. Don't do it. Don't do it. Um, Good evening, Kevin. Can we agree that Burnley's walking the league? I don't know because I saw very little of the 3 o'clock kickoffs because my train was at like 4:20 and I had to go very, very, very quickly after full time. I'll have to have a little bit of a Google. Burn. My fuck me. 5-0. 5? There's just no need. Okay, to be fair, that is a very statistical anomaly, I think. 5-0 from 4 shots on target is nuts. And we're 16th. That's fun. It's the circus that leads at the moment with the clouds running the show. Need at least 6 players after looking at the other teams. 6? I think 10 winger, left back, centre mid, maybe a right back. I'm at 5, but there's probably an argument for 6. I wouldn't say it's a must, but at least 4 would be good. But it is what it is. Is Farkas starting to feel like ignoring Middlesbrough are our problems, his or the board's? Oh, easy, but he's going to go nuts. Whilst there are valid points in the idea that Farkas relatively struggling in terms of like system didn't look great towards the end of last season, I think the beginning of this season you put more on the 49ers. Because the beginning of this season has seen someone losing their best player, their best youngster, and the like fan favorite all in one window. The fan favorite being on the day of a match, and I don't think any manager really would be able to like handle that much of a proportion of a team's talent going all at once. Because as much as people are like, not a good manager relies on individual talent, show me a manager that doesn't, is what I'd say. It's called having fucking good concept. What's called? Oh, you mean conversion? Okay. I mean, kinda. I'll have to look at their goals to be able to tell, but like, I don't know. If that was us, you can guarantee there will be people demanding Ilan Malier's head, like now. There'd be people like, excuse me, 4 shots on target, 4 goals against. I think we get sucked into this thing where, like, if it happens against us, then the worst possible version of events for us must have happened. If it happens against someone else, then it's the thing that we're missing. I was gonna say, I was like, I mean, I do try and have a decent chat on my streams, but calling it fucking good, I mean, I'll take it, thank you. But you know, left back, mid, winger, and a 10 is the minimum. Ideal, I'd want another 9 too. Not convinced on the 9. Because in theory, we've still got 3. And I think at that point, I think with the 9, there's more important things to do. But not that we didn't have shots and the fans would have gone wild if Ampadu shit would have gone in. I thought that was quite clever. I thought him even trying that was like, that's bold. I respect it, Ethan. Yeah, that's why the safe was so warm. The safe over here, that was like, it's weirdly hot in that safe. Yeah, it's just really good convection. It's basically an oven. Oh dear. Look, your late night stream has given me the chance to watch live in Chicago. I'm glad you enjoy. It's good to have you on board. But yeah, I'm not going to go for too much longer because I need that camera right there to do a decent bit of staying charged ahead of what's going on tomorrow. So I think I'm going to end the stream relatively soonish. Sorry, Ernie. If I do a stream tomorrow, though, it'll be roughly at the same time. Just because I'm up at... What time am I up? 8:30-ish? No, that's when the shift starts. I'm up at 7:30-ish. Shift starts at 8:30. Finishes at like 11:30 to give me 45 minutes to walk to the studio. And then I'm in there till about 8 p.m. So it'll be about this time, I think. Joe thinks the microwave is a safe. Right, hang on. Right, okay. So you can look at my face close up for a moment. That's not a microwave. That is a safe. I told you. Now I've got to fix everything. Yeah. Thinking I don't know the difference between a microwave and a safe. You bastard. I said this on a few streams, but why aren't we tarnishing Rutter with the same brush as Adams and Sinister and blaming everyone else? He's the one that's gone up the first time of asking. It wasn't the first time of asking. If he wanted to, he could have probably tried to force his way out at Brighton's first bid. Didn't. Ended up making himself available for Leeds on the day that he was leaving, which a lot of players wouldn't do. Sinistera, for example. There's a fundamental difference between Luis Sinistera, who, if I remember right, told a child at Thorpe Arch that he would be playing for Leeds last season, and then left within hours. There's a fundamental gap between that and Rutter making himself available on the same day that he gets a bid to like activate his release clause. They're very, very, very different things. And I think to conflate the two is being really harsh to Georgie. Where are you again, Joe? I am in a hotel in Brentford-ish, between the two. Sinister even had a Leeds United themed birthday party. Yeah, but I feel like the inspiration behind Sinistera's Leeds United themed birthday party was he just wanted to see something Leeds themed burn, and that's why he had the candles. Is that it? Is what it? Is what it for what? I don't know. That's very, very vague. I mean, you've confused me, sir. It's very easy to do, though, to be fair. But I believe I'm not going to finish quite yet, actually. I'm going to go back to one of our favourite places in the whole world. Oh, we love this place. We spend a few minutes every stream in this place. We're going to do a shortened version, though, with simply, you say 3 or 5. We'll do the first 5 questions that pop in. We'll pop in questions corner. And then, yeah, then I'm going to call it an evening. I might record a video for the morning. I'm not sure yet. And then I'll go to bed because I need to be up in the morning. I'm gonna skip those ads as well because we're basically about to be finished. I thought you were in the Mediterranean or something. Okay, Costa del Brentford. Yeah, it's not a holiday. It's a work thing. Has Parker been factored over by the board? In a way, I am still of the opinion that it's not their fault that we had player sales. Player sales were effectively locked by the contracts that were signed under Orta, and it'd be really hard to renegotiate those because every single one of the players that you're trying to negotiate would be effectively weakening their own position by agreeing to a new contract. No sane person would agree to one without a release clause if you've already got said release clause. So on that front, no, but on the front of he needed signing sooner in the window, especially if we knew that Rutter had a release clause. That one, yes, absolutely. What's the code for the save? I don't know. Oh, I can set my own code. Well, in that case, it's 6969. Question number 3. You're not Matt Smith, are you? Very tall, abysmal in front of goal. I don't know. That's a good question. Wait, unless that's not in my direction. I don't know. Let's say it is, and I'll say, yeah, go on then. I am, in fact, Matt Smith, and I've renamed myself, but I'm not like that Matt Smith. I'm Doctor Who-y Matt Smith, but with significantly less charisma. That'd be question 3. I'm going to take this as question 4 of Questions Corner. Did anyone else cheer when Melia saved that shot? In all fairness, good to see him putting positive performance on the road. Yeah, I mean, I thought he was fine enough. There was that corner that he got a hand to that I genuinely think probably saved a goal. Would have been nice if he got more of a hand to it, but that is the example of why I think goalkeepers should be slapping and punching the ball away rather than catching. Because if you're barely just getting one hand to a ball, the last thing you want to do is try and get 2 hands to it and completely eliminate your own ability to do things. It was out of Matthew Smith in the chat. I did think that made sense. But shut up, John. No, you're right. That's fine. Love watching Brighton play attacking football. Yeah, I'm probably going to be watching more of Brighton this season, considering they've nicked my favourite footballer. The bastards. And finally, for Questions Corner, unless someone puts in something very interesting whilst I'm doing the outro, and it distracts me because ADHD is great fun. If you could only make one more saying, what position would you choose? Or I would go with, assuming we don't lose anyone else, a 10. Because I don't like Piroe being one of our only options as a 10. Makes me unhappy. Last bit. I know I said the last one was the last question, but this one sort of interested me a bit. I don't think we're looking like mid-table. I think we're looking like playoff fighters, people contending for playoffs, and things can improve as the season goes on. I don't know, but we'll see. How many do we get in before the next game? I don't know when the next game is. I'll be completely honest with you. I don't know if it's midweek. I don't know if it's next week. Would you ever have your nipples pierced with a nail gun? Not consensually, no. But if someone's coming at me with a nail gun, I'm assuming there's not that much consent there anyway. Friday, 2. We'll go 2 in terms of how many we're getting before the deadline. I'll call it the last question because I need to nip off. If you haven't yet, please pop a like on the stream. That is always massively appreciated. Helps out quite a lot. I'm very, very close to getting 50 likes on this stream, and that'd be really wonderful if you guys could help me push it over that specific line. Just because it'd be, it'd be real good to. It's a nice little benchmark, isn't it? Subscribe to the channel if you've not already. That's always massively appreciated. You can always also become a channel member. It's 99p a month, which I think is like reasonably good value for a YouTube channel membership. I recognise that not that many people have money floating around at the moment, but if you've got 99p about, that'd be appreciated. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Might have a video up for you tomorrow, and on that note, it'll be one that releases early for members if I advance it and upload it in advance, because that's what I've been doing recently. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the stream. Like, subscribe, become a member, all that fun stuff. And I will see you later. Toodaloo. So tired.